work to strip the Landcruiser is well underway. Most interesting, for me anyway, is the condition of the gearbox. It's unlikely to have ever been removed or serviced, and its wear patterns might reveal a little bit more about the history of our Landcruiser.
So now we're looking at the gearbox to really try and establish what would we look at on this particular gearbox. You know, Toyota, the Landcruisers have a range of different gearboxes, and the Troopy's box is not the strongest gearbox. There are some weak points in it, but generally to go through it, what is you gonna? If you can take us through your visual inspection, and then obviously we're gonna have to pull it apart to
Yes.
see.
Well, you've informed me about the mileage of this one. It is quite high, and what I'm seeing compared to what I generally see, this one is very good, same as the condition of your diffs. The first thing I usually check is the very front tip of your input shaft or your spigot shaft that runs in the pilot bearing. That usually wears out to quite a hollow on high mileage vehicles. This one is still perfectly smooth, even after all those miles. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, it hasn't been sleeved either.
Not at all, it's still original. The clutch dust's fairly normal for the mileage. I'm sure it must have had a clutch or two in its time. Then I'll also just rotate it a bit. Feel for knocking sounds, you know, looking, roughness. This is perfectly smooth. Perfectly smooth. Another spot where we often, you know, get a good indication of the condition of the gearbox. These little pins where the gear lever locate, they become loose, sometimes even fall out. These are still perfectly tight. The seat that the gear lever rests on is in place, still intact. So far so good. And then the last thing we'll check is sometimes we get some play on the spline on the rear flange. And not on the flange, that play is actually on the front engaging gear. This is still perfectly tight. So I'm quite curious to disassemble this one to see what's going on inside. From the outside it looks very good.
It does. There was an oil leak obviously we spotted from here, so there is some play on this bearing.
Yes.
But that's not uncommon.
No, it's an ordinary little ball bearing that will wear with time.
Yeah.
But the oil leak, I think, is just the age of the oil seal. That little play shouldn't cause it to leak.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So that's one good reason when you take a gearbox out is to, I suppose, two things. You pull it apart to inspect it and see what's going on inside. You put new seals and gaskets at the very least. But the biggest thing for me is you give the confidence to the person to say your gearbox, which is an expensive, difficult to repair on the road, to find someone who's good to make the repair, you take that out of the equation. I need to know if I'm driving this car, and certainly for Andrew driving this car, that it is going to be reliable. You know, and if we only put seals and gaskets in, at least we've had the inspection with your experience.
Yes. There's no need to guess. We can inspect and be sure what's going on. What I expect to see, I might eat my words, because this gearbox and diffs have surprised me so far. I expect to see wear on the splines between the gearbox output shaft and the transfer input shaft. And I expect to see the fifth gear to be loose on the main shaft splines. Those are the two very common faults on these ones after prolonged use.
Sure.
Maybe they put in a new gearbox in that last year or something.
I don't know, it's just too good. I mean,
there was plenty of work done on this car.
You know, this is...
Like I say, there's always hat eating, but...
Can I make a suggestion of what's actually going on here? This is the world, karma, making up 105 gearbox. You know, the universe felt so guilty.
So sorry for you, Andrew. I think that's the bottom line. Because basically he said, we're going to give you a really nice vehicle. You're not going to pay a lot for it.
Maybe you have enough paperweights on the table.
Another paperweight?
Okay, we found a problem at last.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
So what have we found in here? Oh gosh, yeah. Wow.
These needle bearings run inside this idler gear in the transfer case, but the chrome surface where they run on have put it completely through on the idler gear. So we'll need a new one of those.
So that means Andrew has another paperweight for his office.
Indeed.
Whoa, okay, how am I going to explain this to you? Paperweight in my office. What he's talking about is this guy. Now, in 2019, when we built the 105 Cruiser, the transmission was, if I say it was bad, I'm not even close. It was catastrophic. I'm getting there. It was so bad that somebody had decided that a full-time four-wheel drive vehicle was worse than a four-wheel. They had converted the 105 into a two-wheel drive by welding one of the center differential spider gears. And that is now a prized possession in my edit suite. And I think, looking at the condition of this gearbox, which was really the opposite of what the 105 was. The universe was saying to me, yes, Andrew, we know you wanted a story when you built your 105, so we made this wonderful story about this catastrophic conversion that somebody had done to the gearbox, and it cost a lot of money, also done by Cape Transmissions, to fix. And now they've given me something that is actually really rather good.
But would you say not unexpected on this mileage?
No, but compared to everything else, why only the one part?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, this is one of those things where Sherlock Holmes shouldn't deduce too much. The inside of your transfer case, of course. That is your transfer input gear, on which we often see play on the splines. Now this one has a little bit, a very, very little bit of it. Usually we see a lot more, so that's good. Your transfer input gear turns your idler gear, of course, which sits there. And then your idler gear will turn simultaneously your high range and your low range gears, but obviously only one or the other is engaged at any time. So low range doesn't get used much. We do inspect it, the engaging teeth looks fine. And then high range, the little engaging teeth sometimes wear away, they lose their shape.
Sharp, yeah.
This has worked. Also the hub, you can see the splines are worn, but it doesn't necessarily justify a replacement.
No.
It's fairly normal to see those shiny marks.
So it's actually in really good condition. I mean, and with that as well, I mean, what we're looking at here is the transfer case would probably be okay with new gaskets and seals.
And idler gear.
Oh, we need to change that.
Idler gear and some bearings.
Yeah, so there is work to do.
Yes.
Okay, well, for this mileage, we're doing well.
We are. Right, the first indication of the wear between the transfer input shaft and the gearbox output shaft, there you go. It's a male and female spline that engage one another, and you can see there's clearly play. So in a couple of minutes, you'll see it exactly.
Work.
Just move all the...
There's a plastic bag where you want to I might just put it on the plastic bag.
Work in Hollywood.
Right. I think explain that, the weakness, and what we're going to fit and why.
Okay. One of the weak spots on these gearboxes is where the transfer input gear fits to the transfer input shaft. They develop a play on the splines. This one is not so bad, but I can show you if I were to take it off. Those are the splines in there, and it runs in that part there. You can actually see the width of it, I would guess about 30-35 millimeters. They wear out. Terrain Tamer have come up with an innovation to attach the collar to the gear, and if I were to guess, about 3 times the amount of load-bearing splines. So this should actually last indefinitely.
When we did our inspection, this is where we found the oil leak on the transfer box. It's going to need to be repaired. You've got a leak, oil leak. Now looking in, you can see it's actually done a bit more damage, not just the oil seal.
Yes, we've removed the flange and the seal. The bearing is exposed. From the color, it looks like water contamination. And now with the flange removed, you can actually see how much play is in that ball bearing.
Yeah.
So that would cause your flange to flop about and your seal to move.
So quite often people are changing seals, but actually it's not actually the cause of the problem. It's, you know, good property.
Yes, we've often seen it, especially on diffs with a collapsible spacer. People don't understand it. The whole pinion flops about, they just pop in another seal and they go off again and it just leaks again. Let me just get this back on the same spline that it was. There we go, what luck. So we've spoken about the wear on the back of the gearbox output shaft. There you can see it if you were to zoom in. And then of course the fifth gears that wear on their spline. I'll pull it back slowly so that you can actually see. Yeah, splines are exposed. They are slightly worn. We'll have to change the main shaft to the modified terrain tamer one with a much longer spline there anyway to make it stronger. And then if I were to demonstrate the fifth gear, I don't know if you can see in there, but we'll have a set of 3 splines, a gap, another 3 splines, a gap, another 3 splines, a gap. The upgraded gear from Terrain Tamer, this one here, you'll see has a full complement of splines, increasing its load bearing capabilities, and of course it will last longer. So we will probably upgrade to one of these. Other things we check on a gearbox would be your input shaft and cluster gear, 2 hardest working gears in the gearbox. Same as on the diffs, pit marks, dull marks, this looks fine. The other thing we'll inspect is the state of the synchronizers, the synchro cones. We'll measure the gap between this brass cone and its landing there. Just quick visual inspection, these looks fine, but they are, you know, wearable item and relatively inexpensive to replace. I would recommend that. And then one last thing on these ones, which is sometimes troublesome. There you can see it, this fifth gear has actually failed on the cluster shaft. The needle bearing on the inside is chewed into the cluster gear. So we will end up replacing the input shaft and cluster gear anyway. The overdrive fifth gear issues with so many modern things. The first thing to develop a problem, needle bearings, and then this fifth gear will fit over there, which was flopping about. The reason for that, you will see that the cluster shaft has worn away. It's actually hollow, it's narrower here than it's supposed to be, so this whole lay shaft will have to be replaced. And with regards to this thrust washer, they tend to wear into the cluster gear there and eventually break in half on these 2 weak spots where the locating pin goes in. Terrain Tamer have upgraded one of these as well, which is quite thicker and does the job. They don't break.
So pulling a gearbox apart, there's very few people who get to see the inside of the gearbox. And I think what we've seen with this gearbox, 500,000 kilometers, significant wear in the weak point areas. And what we found over time, that if you take it to a specialist who knows what they're doing, understands the weak points, they get addressed and they get fixed, and you get a great gearbox back. And that's important because over the years I've seen so many people take shortcuts on gearboxes. Quality of parts going into the gearbox, again, really important. Now, the company that is working with Andrew, Terrain Tamer, put together some amazing kits for the gearbox overhaul, the diff overhaul. And in front of me here I've got the kits for the differentials, we've got the 2 diff kits, and of course we've got the gearbox kit. Now, to anyone rebuilding a gearbox, when you get all these parts, that you don't have to go and order all these parts separately, it's given to you right down to the packet of little sprayers and washers and plastic bits, to the spacer. That's the original spacer, this is the upgraded one. It makes such a difference to rebuilding the gearbox. And that's where we've come to the point that if you're going to do this with this amount of wear, do it properly. And here's exactly what we can do. You know, you don't have to use a complete kit like this, but when you get it, it gives everything. And you know that once you've replaced all these parts, for the extra cost, it's been done properly. and you don't have to look at the bigger